do also have a hiking offset group in our club. So,
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So it's like a little group chat, and they all get together and do hikes. So I missed a few of them, but they do some really scenic pictures they post. So
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
so you're welcome to join that too. And then go ahead, Lydia.
Sure. Hi, my name is Joy. So yeah, this is my first time here, of course. So I'm introducing myself. So I'm a consultant. I'm currently working at Facebook as a PM to kind of in the finance PM team, like to manage different like financial projects. So outside of work, I like exercising. So recently I do Peloton. Being a virus phobia, I just stay home and work out. But then before that, I would go to gyms like Orange Theory, or I do yoga also. And I like hiking. So although I don't do it often, but I would like to join a group. So
You'll have to educate us about that stuff,
Which
I
one?
need to learn more about is it
Peloton?
Peloton, yeah.
Yeah, it's very great. Like, so they have 30 minutes or even like 20 minutes ride. So you just hop on it and no need to worry about how your appearance look like. Just hop on it, 30 minutes done,
Nice.
and then take a shower. Yeah. All right.
Well, welcome, Joyce. All right, and then before we introduce the Toastmaster, I think we walked through most of the roles, right, Jose, already?
Let me see now. I'll counter,
What is it,
timer,
I'll counter,
word
timer?
master. I'll be word master, grammarian. Grammarian.
Yep. And
But
then
you want to put grammarian, or we don't enough for that.
oh, I can take unless Wyman wants to take Grammarian, but I think Wyman's
Oh, he's
speaking.
speaking.
Yeah, Wyman's speaking, so I'll also do Grammarian.
You'll be grammarian.
Right. And the Toastmaster of the day, we have Jose. So Jose's choosing the theme games, and he'll be able to explain a little bit about that.
Sure.
And then also call up an invocation. And Jose's been a Toastmaster, I think, for a while now.
Yeah,
He
great.
does a lot of deep spiritual kind of mindfulness speeches, and I really like the speeches because it makes me think a lot about a lot of things. So welcome in, Jose. So I'm pretty sure you have a good reason for listening.
I do. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Today, March 11th, I picked the topic as games. Before we proceed with our invocation, it is an invocation. Okay. So everybody stand. So in picking this topic, I was thinking about something that would be more attuned to something being fun. And in that sense, the first thing that came to mind was games. So that's what I put in, games. And then I expanded on what would games mean to me. And a lot of things, the first impression when you think of games is something that's enjoyable, right? And in this meeting, I would like to explore the elements of games that makes it enjoyable. Because fun is pretty much one of the major goals in our lives. Something we want to put things into that kind of frames. That's the way the games are, the way all the different elements, and how it makes it fun. It being a challenge, it being an entertainment. At the same time, it's a different kind of social interaction. Yes, it's competitive, but then again, there's an element of unpredictability when we do games. And so, again, I would like to explore that, and that will be part of our table topics for today. Thank you very much. And I'm going to go through all the different roles. Our first duty master, as far as on the list, will be the accounter. Now, could you please explain to everybody what accounting
Good
is?
morning, everyone. My role today is counter, so I will be keeping track of double clutches, and I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Other role is on timer. Hannah will be our timer.
I didn't see the timer card, but I
Oh,
was
yeah.
keeping track of.
Sorry.
Last page.
I got it. I'll be keeping track of time, so for table topics, we'll move into that later. But first, for speeches, I'll be timing 5 to 7 minutes. So if you do need extra time, please let me know, speakers. For valuations, it'll be 30 minutes, and then table talks 2 minutes. Once you go, you'll be shown a green, yellow, or red card. So green is 2 minutes left, yellow is 1 minute left, and red is time is up. After 30 seconds, you'll get the little bell. So 30 seconds is a grace period. So just and it will also be the grammarian. Find that one. That's where I put it. It'll also be the grammarian of this morning. So just do your best in terms of grammar. We're going to be tracking like multiple plurals, dangling participles, incorrect use of singular, and mixing past and present tenses. So just do your best in terms of grammar. We do also like to highlight some good grammar. Thank you.
Okay. I'll be word master for today, and the word for today is proverbial. It's an adjective, something that is well known, such as to be stereotypical. For example, I put seems like a appropriate sentence for today. We won't have much attention because of the proverbial flu. It's well known that there's flu right now, so proverbial is the word. Adjective. Use that word in your speeches. I will track it. The idea being that you structure your speech to a certain word, so it helps you focus and tailor to speech to that particular word. That way you learn that aspect of speech, making speeches, tailoring your speech to the subject. I will also be the video master. The video is right there. It's optional if you don't want to be videotaped. I'll turn it away. It goes into YouTube. We have our YouTube channel. It's good for you to review how you did as far as visually in terms of presenting your speech. I'll also be the ballot counter. I'll get the ballots at the end of the meeting. I will take your votes in terms of the best speaker, the best table topics, and the best evaluator. Okay, I think everybody's covered as far as the roles. We'll go on to our first speaker. We only have one.
Yeah, we're trying to get this up.
Yeah. Okay.
And then who do we have as evaluators? I'm one, and then who's going to evaluate?
Oh, that's right. We're missing one more evaluator. Can you be evaluator, Baz? Yeah. Just yeah.
Or do you want to ask?
Huh?
Do you want to evaluate or?
Yeah, I already signed up for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
did? Oh, you did.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were
You
missing
both
something.
evaluators,
Okay,
so
good,
we're
yeah.
good. I
didn't
think
know
with
if we were-
evaluator. Right. Okay.
You need a general evaluator technically.
What's that?
You technically need a general evaluator.
Oh, we need a general
Yeah, that's
evaluator,
what it
but
was.
Yeah.
Do you want to be general evaluator too?
Sure, I can.
Yeah, yeah.
And then who you're evaluating? So
Huh?
I know who to evaluate.
I think, according to this, I'm doing Wyoming.
Okay, perfect.
Bear with us, trying to figure out.
okay.
Well, I need.
Oh, do you need it too?
Are you gonna do the
Yeah,
video?
Maybe.
Okay,
speaker
so
number
we're
two.
gonna have technical.
It's Wyoming and
You and I right now.
You guys are
Oh,
speakers.
okay.
So bear with us for,
Right. Bear with us for a few minutes. Gonna- What's your topic, Wyoming?
it's gonna be about, online startup speakers.
Online.
There we go, you got yours.
Online
So I
startup
want to
speak. Online. So our first speaker will be Wai Ming. He's been with us for several years. He's very, very experienced, so I look forward to hearing his new speech for today, which will be on online startup speakers. Give our hands to Wai Ming.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmaster, most welcome guest. I'm going to make a proposal here, and one of the so hear me out and see how this would go. I'm going to talk about online startup speakers as an option. So one of the biggest problem that comes up is this stuff called COVID-19, and the way it works is this is just a virus that goes around. Could be a new strain, could be something gotten from an animal, could be some experiment that some country has done and somehow it got spread out. But either way, it doesn't matter, now it's out. And it takes, if you got it, it takes 5 days on average before you actually feel the symptoms. So if I had the symptoms, or if I had gotten the virus, I run around, I don't have any symptoms for 5 days, I talk to you, and I just get close to you within 6 feet and just talk to each other, and then the droplet comes out, because when you speak, things comes out of your mouth and it goes to the other person. And eventually, after 20 days or 15 days, supposedly affect your lung. And for most people, it's okay, but for those vulnerable folks, the older folks, maybe your parents, and those who are less healthy, they could pass away. So the thing that a lot of people have proposed is to keep a distance of at least 6 feet, because when you speak, what comes out takes that much distance to drop to the ground. So my recommendation for you guys is to sit every other seat, if nothing else. It's not a big deal, because that is unfortunately the new normal. The other one is sanitize. That's good that they provide the stuff, because I would recommend use it as often as possible. Clean your hands and avoid crowds. One of the problem with crowds is because people talk to each other and just the whole room has the stuff in the air and just flows around. It's better to open the door. Avoid doctors. Unfortunately, doctors get in touch with folks. And kids are the worst. Is that they themselves they don't have the symptoms, maybe even for longer, because they have more immunity, or they're more resistant. And if you have a kid, you could have gotten it from the kid, because the kid could have gotten it from other kids who got it from their parents or whatever. So unfortunately, that's the situation. And of course, don't travel, don't go on a cruise ship. I'm sorry. And if you got contact, you felt that you might have gotten the virus, you have to isolate yourself. Otherwise, the problem is you're gonna spread it. So the situation is not fun. And in fact, this is a chart that you can just got off the internet. This was gotten from last night at 5 p.m. Over 100,000 people that were infected, and over 4,000 deaths. And some of the countries, besides China, which has the most, have gotten very quickly, like Italy were less than 10 a week or two ago, and now is over 10,000. And the US is over 972, but last night is over 1,000, and I haven't checked this morning, but unfortunately it's going up. And that's unfortunate situation. And when you look at most of the companies around the Bay Area, a lot of them actually have an edict to work from home, or at least stay away as much as possible. Even the universities are going online in terms of teaching classes. They don't have classrooms anymore. So my proposal to this club is to consider, in the temporary option, to go online. Now, you don't have to be everyone online. You could be partially online. It could be some people here, some folks online, and then we can combine it using this screen. so that would be the proposal. The screen, the only thing is we want to make sure the Wi-Fi works, otherwise it wouldn't work. And as long as, you know, this room is right now with how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. I think it's okay. Yeah, just open the doors. and then maybe with a few more people online, and that would be a good considered option. In fact, when you look at Toastmasters, they're actually online clubs. There's some of them, not too many of them. I haven't explored too many of them, but they are all over the world. So it is something that could be done with Toastmasters. There are some logistics issues, like I think timing, the grammarian, the R counter, all those functions can be done very easily. Actually, the timer is the only problem. That's the biggest issue. How do you actually indicate the time? I think we have to find an online app, but everything else, whether it's voting, you can vote if you were to use so some of the options that we're looking at online, you can actually vote using chat windows and so on. So there are many options, and in fact, most of them are free. Like WebEx, they just changed their policy so that they give you a 90-day free policy that can have 100 people online at the same time. Skype has over 50, that's free. Zoom has 100. Facebook Messenger was 50. I was actually looking at WhatsApp because we're on WhatsApp already to see whether we can do it. But unfortunately, WhatsApp is limited to 4. You only have 4 people online. So my request for the club is to see whether we would consider one of these options as an augmentation to the meetings. And then if we were to consider one of these options, pick one, and then set up the app individually, agree on how do you moderate it using if it's WebEx, then you need a moderator to manage the scheduling and so on. And it could be the Toastmaster for that matter. And we can have both online and an in-person type meeting and try it. So I think the only obstacle that we need to work out is timer. Other than that, everything else could still be this time. We meet at 7:15, ends at 8:30. We could have in person here as well as online. So consider online style speaker, either as a full meeting, because frankly, they might even close this location down, who knows? Or as a combined online plus in-person meeting. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Wai Ming. Give yourself a minute or two to give your feedback for Wai Ming under the first speaker of your ballots. Thank you. Hi, Boris. Could you be general evaluator? I think we can. No, he's evaluator, so it kind of.
I can be general
It doubles
evaluator.
it. It doubles it. Yeah, you are. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. So we'll have. Okay, pretty much almost done. Thank you everyone for your feedback. Our next speaker will be Georgie, and she's also been with Toastmaster for several years already, very experienced. She covers a lot of different topics, and it's always been insightful in terms of current events and what seems to be a good reminder or a good lessons that we could learn at the present moment. So it's very current and very, very helpful. Again, bring our hands for Georgie. Thank you.
Today I'd like to talk about a new concept in marketing for content creators called 100 True Fans, or how to make money with the content that you love. It started back in 2008 when Kevin Kelly of Wired Magazine put a post out talking about how content creators or artists don't need to be starving artists. Instead, they can leverage the tools that the internet provides to create a social media platform for all their fans. And with that, they can then use ways so that their fans can send donations to them or buy their content online. That was a novel concept at the time. So the idea is that you may have lots and lots of fans, but you really need, in order to survive on a pretty good salary, 1,000 true fans. True fans meaning people who will spend at least $100 per year because they love your content so much. There's a new concept that just came out in a blog post just about a month ago from Legion. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. She works at Andreessen Horowitz. You may know these VCs. They're well known for their phrase, software is eating the world, that one of their VCs coined. The concept is with 100 true fans instead of 1,000, you still make $100,000 a year, but now you have super fans, or what I call super fans, in which they will spend $1,000 per year to buy your content. Now this means that you have to up your content as a content provider. So it's not just the idea is that you would start out by building a platform with your fans. All the content in the beginning would be free, so you try to get a large audience together. Then you work your way up to having the specialized content available for your fans, the people who will spend $100 per year or so on your product. Once again, these are your 1,000 true fans. But a small select number of these will become your super fans at the very top of your pyramid. These people spending $1,000 a month, make that around $80 or so per month on your higher price content. This means you need to create different content for your different fans. For your free audience, you want to get them interested in your content so that they'll talk about to their friends and they will come for the content and help you build more members into your network. For your fan audience, the people who spend $100 per year on your content, the fans in this case, they love your content. They want to support you. They are kind of donating to you. They're doing this because they want to support you. So the focus on this fan and the content you're providing is all about the content creator. I like you, I want to help you. For the super fans, the people who are really spending a lot of money, it's different. Now you as a content provider need to provide content that they think is worth the money. This is not about the content creator. It's about the super fan. How is this going to help me in my life? So how exactly do you do this? Well, one strategy you can use for making content that would be ROI or a high return on investment is that you could use Daniel Pink's concept of intrinsic motivation from his book Drive. There are 3 different things people look for to make their life meaningful. Autonomy, the urge to direct one's life. 2, mastery, the way to improve on a talent or some knowledge base that you consider important. The people sitting around this room this morning have that, as we can all tell. Number 3, purpose, yearning to be of service to a larger group or something larger than oneself. Content creators need to figure out ways in order to create a niche of content and tap